All right, we're live. If you're watching it live, maybe you're probably watching it later. But it's Monday in the Woodlands, and so let's get started. I want to talk about two things today. First thing, those of you that, and I've seen this a lot in the comments, there seems to be quite a bit of anxiety that a lot of us are dealing with. I think it's pretty common. We are in a very tense, high-paced culture, and a lot of us, myself included, we just don't do so great dealing with that, and so we find ourselves stressed and worried, and maybe even having panic attacks. And I know in my situation, I was having a lot of physical stuff going weird with me, going numb and being forgetful and almost blacking out almost every day. So here's something Dr. Steve taught me, how to handle those situations. This is just a little tip, a tool, another tool you can use. Okay. He made me think of a place where I was really peaceful. He said, think about anything in your past, any place, any situation, any environment to where you really felt at ease. I mean, it was a place where you were happy, literally a happy place. So when the joke is, I'll go to my happy place, go to my happy place. No, this is what we're talking about. This is real stuff. And he made me envision it. And for me, it was back before we had kids, and we had this boat. We had this 1996 Larson ski boat. And to be real honest with you, it was a bit of a turd. But it was my turd. And we polished it up. And we spent so much time out on the lake. And many of you that are watching, several of you at least, used to go out on the lake with us. And that was my peaceful place as I look back on it. Now, if you went out on the lake with us, you would go, that wasn't very peaceful, Darren, because your boat always broke down. And we ended up having to push that thing all over dadgum Greer's Ferry. Those are facts. I'm not going to deny any of that. But I think back being out on the water with friends, and the boat's turned off, and we're playing in the water, or we're just laying in the boat, and we're eating Lunchables. Lunchables. This next segment brought to you by Lunchables. It's like lunch, only not so much. But that's the story I told him. I was like, man, that's a place I can look back on in my life, where when I was sitting out there and the boat was rocking back and forth and the sun was out and the radio was on. We're usually listening to Linkin Park. They're not so soothing, but that's what I liked. That was a place where, man, I just was at peace. And he took me through an exercise. It took about 15 minutes to where I just kind of closed my eyes and I went there. And I explained everything to him, and all the details and the smells and the colors. And then he explained this to me, and I actually read this in a book just a few days later, that your brain, when you do that, when you go to that place, like really get there, like take some time out of your day and stop everything else, turn everything off, and you really get there, your brain does not know the difference between actually being there and just thinking about being there. Like the chemicals that are released are the same. The neuron pathways that are firing are the same. And so then he encouraged me to do this. He says, in the coming weeks, as you find yourself in these anxious situations where you don't know what's next and you find yourself fearful, I want you to just find a moment, find a space, find a place, turn everything off, close your eyes, and just go there. And let your brain and your body regulate itself and get you back to a better place. So I want to encourage you guys to do that this week. Just try it, see what happens. I've done it several times, many times over the last several months. Second thing I want to talk about real quick is this stigma of going to counseling. I've had so many positive comments, I can't keep up with them. And then I've only had one negative comment. In fact, it wasn't even on the Facebook thing. It was like I heard this third hand. Somebody told somebody, well, I can't believe Darren is talking about all that stuff and is seeing a counselor when he's a pastor of a church. I just feel like you guys that are up in front of everybody should have all of your stuff together. What? See, that's part of the problem, is my generation and generations before me, we all were told that as a pastor, as a leader, as a man, we just need to figure stuff out. And if we got these bad feelings, we just need to shake them off. And I'm just here to tell you that if you hold those beliefs, I hope you keep watching this, and I hope you watch it with more of an open mind, because the facts are none of us have our junk together. None of us have our stuff together. And probably none of us will just be able to will our way out, like dig ourselves out of these holes that we find ourselves in. And so we'll spend most of our lives either faking it, or you'll end up where I ended up, just kind of at the bottom and not knowing what else to do. So I know I don't have a whole lot of authority, but I want to act like I do real quick. Just let me do this real fast. I want to give you permission to actually go get some help. For the guys that are watching this, I want to let you off the hook and let you know that you don't have to have it all together. You don't have to figure this out on your own in your own head, because it's your own head that's broken. So you're trying to fix something with a tool that's broken. And I want to give you permission to go seek some help. In fact, if you'll even check with your employer or your insurance provider, many of you probably have coverage that allows you a certain amount of visits. But if not, I say find the resources to do that. Look for free counseling in your community, at a church, wherever you are, and just go start the process. Some of you have told me, well, I used to do counseling and it didn't work. Yeah, because not all the counselors are good, right? Not all plumbers fix your toilet, right? Go find another one. And if you find yourself at a place and you're like, man, this isn't working, don't just go, well, this stuff doesn't work, Darren is an idiot. Yes, probably I'm an idiot, but the stuff works if you can find somebody that can truly begin to help you to heal and to rewire some stuff. I believe it's God's desire for us to be whole, right? And I believe that He sent Jesus to put us back together. But I also don't believe the old adage, if you'll just pray, read the Bible, go to church, then everything's going to be fine. Because a lot of you out there have been praying, reading the Bible, go to church your whole life, and you know in your heart that not everything's fine. So let's get some help. Make a call. Ask a friend. Look at some reviews online. Find somebody that can help you. Hope this helped. It helps me. Dr. Steve and I talked about this very thing today. And I told him I'm going to run downstairs and I'm going to tell everybody to do whatever they've got to do to start the process. Love you guys. Thank you for continuing to watch. And please, please, please hit that share button. Okay? You may not need this, but I bet somebody on your feed needs this. So I'm done. That was a long time. Golly, I get to rambling. Take a drink here and we're done. And for those of you who keep saying, hey, Darren, you shouldn't be drinking Red Bull, let me just say this real quick. You're not my real dad, so you can't tell me that. And I'm just trying to have a little energy at 3 o'clock afternoon. I get sleepy. See you next week.